frame buildings, notifying viewers that you're live. See, on TikTok, you can like your own video and then more people see it. Oops, I'm having a tough time with my setup here. But yeah, post frame buildings. So what is a post frame building? Now, a lot of people will call them pole barns, but there's a bit of a difference between post frame and pole barns. Now, the difference between them, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty and to the terminology of it, is that, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Not sure. The difference between post frame and a pole barn is post frame is generally going to be a laminated post built out of 2x8s or 2x10 or something, laminated together, so nailed together, sometimes glued, and sometimes with structural screws, sometimes with gusset plates or whatever you want to call them, gang nails, or people have different names for them. So that's going to be what a post frame building is. Now a pole barn, hey Andrea, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. We're talking about shops, barns, garages, post frame buildings. And so now a pole barn is going to be the old traditional style of post in the ground, right? So not as common anymore. Hey, crazy something, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. So the pole barns are going to be old telephone pole. Audrey, good to see you. Almaco Prime, Xavier, good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping on. The pole barns are going to be poles in the ground, and of course, disadvantage to that is rot. They could rot off. That's, not a great option because of that. Benoit, good to see you. Preet, AC, Brody, good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping on. And yeah, so you're seeing that with a lot of these old pole barns with the posts in the ground. Wadpa, thanks for jumping on. The posts are rotting off. Michelle, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. The posts are rotting off on these old pole barns. And back in the day, you could build a pole barn for really pretty cheap, pretty efficiently. And nowadays, with the cost of everything, it costs so much to build a building that it's a little bit, it really doesn't make sense to me to spend the amount of money it is, which most of it's in labor. Labor's not cheap, right? And to spend the amount of money it is for the labor and cheap out on something as simple as, instead of putting the poles in the ground, let's just throw a screw pile foundation in. Cam, thanks for jumping on. Good to see you. Got 3 here on YouTube as well, but I can't see who you are. YouTube is a little different. But yeah, the thing with that is you're going to spend a whole bunch of money on the labor. The labor is actually not really, it's not going to change at all. So if you throw the wood post in the ground or you do a screw pile, actually have a little less labor with a screw pile foundation. And the screw pile foundation, you're not drilling holes, you're not making a big mess on site. They just go in nice and clean, weld the saddle on top, boom, up you go. And of course, a lot longer life when you have steel in the ground. Justin, thanks for jumping on. Good to see you. When you have steel in the ground versus wood. And especially like termites, right, are going to get into the wood, rot, lots of problems with wood in the ground, even pressure treated. There are some builders out there that are still throwing pressure treated wood in the ground. And what they're doing is they're creating a lot of future work and post replacements. So can't complain, but I don't recommend it to our customers. We want to give our customers the best quality product that we can. Happy, Keith, Heebster, J-Ron, good to see you guys. So some of the stuff that people will ask us about, like pole barn or post frame, people still call them pole barns, so I'll call them pole barns sometimes too, but they're a post frame building. And it's like, well, what about like mice, rodents, like getting into the building? Aren't the walls going to be full of mice, or how are you going to seal that off, and you don't have a full foundation? Well, the good news is as long as you're putting a slab in, it's very easy to seal it off. And the way you do that, pole barn restoration tips. Hey, let's connect. You want to jump on here? You got time to jump on? Oh no, wait a minute, that's some AI thing. I thought it was some pole barn restoration guy getting on here, but no, it's AI is picking up what I'm laying down. Interesting. So mice or rodents getting into a building, people think, well, it's pole barn, you know, you got piles, you got posts, however you got it, like critters are going to get in there. But if you put a slab in, it's going to seal it off. So the way it works, and I could maybe do a little sketch. I was doing some sketching here earlier. Let's see. So you've got outside the post, you're going to have a pressure treated board on either side. Actually, this is a little inaccurate how I'm showing it to how we're doing it now. But basically, essentially, you've got your bottom pressure treated boards here, and your slab is going to be poured against that. Let me just redraw how we actually do it. So we actually run a piece of wood down here and down here, and then we put our pressure treated down below the post. So that, and then our slab's going to be poured in here like that, and then here's our ground and our grade sloping away. So this shows you here, we've got, this is our slab inside here, and this is we put boards on here to hold this pressure treated board down below the bottom of the post. So you've got your concrete poured against that, and then actually in between those, you've got, in behind there, you've got, it's a bit of a trough, and then you've got your other pressure treated board that runs around the bottom, skirt board on the other side, and then your grade's going to slope away from there. So since your slab's poured against this, it's sealed off. You've got this area in here where you can see right here, we've got another 2x8 running on the flat at the bottom, and then your insulation's going to be in between there. There we go. There's your insulation right there in between, and that insulation is gonna, it's in that trough, so it actually comes down between your slab and the outside grade. And now another thing that we're adding when we're doing a insulated building now is we're actually going and we're putting in the ground. So you've got ground on either side of this. In the ground, we're going to be putting this 2-inch rigid styrofoam. So you can see we've got, let me show the screw pile so you can see how this is. And then you've got the screw pile, very poor drawing of it. But right here you've got the screw pile, you've got your inside of your building, and then you've got a rigid 2 feet of rigid styrofoam insulation running outside those screw piles. And that's going to keep frost from coming in and penetrating through and getting under your slab and lifting your slab. We've actually never had a problem with the slabs lifting, but it's a concern we've heard a bit now. And so that's what we're going to be doing just to make sure that that's not an issue. And then typically on an insulated building, we're going to recommend in-floor heat. So then we're going to have, of course, the under slab insulation underneath the slab with the in-floor heat lines. So that way you've got your rigid foam here so frost can't get down and under the slab. You've got styrofoam insulation under the slab with the heat lines in it so that when you're heating your slab, your heat's not going in and heating the earth. It's all radiating upwards. And then you've also got insulation between the slab and the exterior of the building here in this trough, this pressure treated trough. Thank you everyone for jumping on this morning. I got to get some work done, but I appreciate you watching and hope that was helpful.